Hello and welcome to day 70 of 100 Days of Bad Video. Today we're going to be talking about managing your energy. And this is continuation from yesterday where we started talking about the laws of thermodynamics. We covered law number 1 yesterday. Today we're going to be covering law number 2. Now, the second law of thermodynamics historically is broken down into 3 parts. Now, because of this complexity, I'm going to combine those into 2 parts to make it a little bit easier. And during the process of preparing for this, doing my research, I actually found the site that breaks it down and really helps with understanding engineering principles and terms a lot easier. I wish I had this when I was in school and when I was into engineering. It would have made things a lot easier. So let's get into the simpler version of law number 2 of thermodynamics. So the first portion of it, or the first part of the second law, is high to low. And it states, for any process, a natural flow will always be from a high energy value to a low energy value. Think of it like this. If you were to pour coffee into a mug, the coffee is the higher energy value and the mug is a low energy value. When you pour the coffee in, the mug heats up and gets hotter. That's because energy is flowing from the coffee, the high energy value, to the mug, the lower energy value. And that's why once you pour it in, the cup is also hot. Now, understanding that, let's take it to the real world. How do we apply this to life? Now, in life, think of it like this. There's going to be time where you are the higher energy value person, meaning that you will be teaching, you will be coaching, you will be the mentor because you have more experience, or you may be the subject matter expert in something. You will be the person of the higher energy value and you're flowing to people of lower energy value. I'm not saying that you're smarter than them. It's just in this particular subject, or when it comes to this portion, you are the higher energy value person. Now, the opposite is true. There's going to be times where you're the lower energy value person and you have to learn from people. You have to get understanding. You have to gain wisdom and knowledge. This is the point where you need to be coachable. And this is why I called this video Managing Your Energy, because you have to understand when you're the higher energy value, you're in the driver's seat. When you're in a lower energy value person, you are in the passenger seat. And this is when you need to be coachable. You need to be humble so you can get knowledge and so you can get understanding. When you can navigate those waters properly, you are doing really well. Now, I struggled with this a lot in the earlier parts of my life, and honestly speaking, I still struggle with a little bit. It's harder for me to give up control. But the more I give up control in situations where I need to, the more I end up learning. So let's move on to the second portion of law number 2, and that is perfection is impossible. And here's the definition. For every real world process, there will always be loss. Think about it. There will always be loss. So let's go back to coffee. When you're heating up the water for the coffee, you put the water in a kettle or into a pot, you heat it up. There's going to be water boiling off as it's coming up to temperature through the just natural evaporation of water. So no matter how much you start with, there's going to be less when you get to the point where it's boiling and you're ready to make your coffee or tea. That's that loss. How do we apply that to real life? Now, in real life, that is the exact reason why I named this whole series 100 Days of Bad Video, because it's about progress, not perfection. Understand that perfection is a myth at this point. I realize that. I accept that. Now, because there's always going to be something that you're going to need to know. There's always going to be something that you can learn. And when you can accept that there's something that you can learn, now you open your mind up. You are more receptive to people's thoughts. You are more receptive to people's opinions because you're not looking to always be right. What you're doing is looking to understand. You're listening to understand and to see, okay, am I right in this situation or are they right? Can I learn something? Even if I'm right, I can still learn something. I may learn a different process or a different value or a different way to do something. My way may have been great, but I may learn a different way because I understand that nothing is perfect. There's always going to be some loss. I'm always going to need to make up for that loss. So, if you go through life thinking that you're perfect and you realize that you're not, you're going to be like a dog chasing your tail. And we don't want to do that. We want to understand that there's going to be loss, accept the fact that I don't know everything, and be able to learn. That makes you more open. That makes you more receptive. And more importantly, that lets people know, once they know that you're open to learning, they're going to want to give you more. They're going to want to pour into you more. Now you may be the expert, but then as people pour more into you, you take it to another level. And you realize when you get to that level, there's going to be another level. And when you get to that level, there's going to be another level. There's always going to be another level. And that is what we need to understand. And that is the goal through life, in life, is about progress, not perfection. So that's a quick talk on the second law of thermodynamics and breaking it down and applying it to regular life. Hopefully you got something out of it. And with that being said, there's only one thing left to say. Life gives you two choices. You can either run with the big dogs or you can stay on the porch with the pups. My name is Aaron Allen and I choose to run with the big dogs. See you out there running.